Imagine a betrayal so dark, so twisted, that it leads to a life being brutally taken in cold blood. This is the story of 18-year-old Seth Jackson, a promising young man with dreams, until he became a pawn in a deadly game of manipulation and revenge. A toxic relationship, a jealous friend, and a group of conspirators, all colliding in one fateful night. You won't believe how things escalated, and you certainly don't want to miss the chilling details. Trust us, this is one you'll want to know about before it slips through your fingers. The beginning of Seth Jackson's story. Seth Jackson was a typical 18-year-old boy from Summerfield, Florida. He had a passion for animals and a dream of becoming a fighter in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC. He was preparing for his journey into training once he turned 18, a milestone he was eagerly anticipating. However, life had a different plan for him. The chain of events that led to his death began with his relationship with 15-year-old Amber Wright. At first, their relationship seemed like any other teen romance, filled with passion and hope. But as time passed, the relationship began to unravel. Amber, who had once been the love of Seth's life, started a close relationship with Mike Bargo, Seth's best friend. Seth, distraught over what he perceived as Amber's betrayal, was emotionally shattered when they broke up. But this heartache was only the beginning of a much darker path. The tragic disappearance. On April 17, 2011, Seth, along with his friend Will Stamelot, went to visit a mutual friend. After leaving the house, Will noticed Seth seemed distracted, texting on his phone. They parted ways around 9:00 p.m., and that was the last time Will saw his friend. The next day, when Seth failed to return home, his mother, Sonia Jackson, filed a missing persons report. Amber Wright's half-brother, Kyle Hooper, became emotionally distressed when he saw news coverage of Seth's disappearance. He confessed to his mother that he knew what happened. His revelation led investigators to a rundown house in Summerfield, where the truth was more horrific than anyone could have imagined. The investigation unravels a horrifying truth. The house where the suspects had been staying held crucial information about Seth's disappearance. Investigators rounded up several individuals who were involved in the incident. Among them were Justin Roach Soto, Mike Bargo, Charlie Ellely, and Kyle Hooper. Despite being aware of the investigation, Mike Bargo was notably absent during the initial questioning. As detectives interviewed each suspect, they employed a classic technique of separating them and allowing each to tell their story. This would eventually expose inconsistencies and lies, leading to the unmasking of a horrifying plan. The full truth about Seth's murder slowly came to light, revealing the depth of premeditation and betrayal. The chilling interrogation of Justin Soto. Justin Roach Soto was one of the first suspects to be interviewed. His nervous energy and reluctance to provide clear answers raised suspicion. The detective began by building rapport with Justin, engaging in small talk before diving into the details of Seth's disappearance. At first, Justin claimed he didn't know much about what had happened, but as the interrogation progressed, inconsistencies in his story began to emerge. His body language and responses suggested that he was trying to distance himself from the crime, though the detectives pressed on. The revelation that he had been present at the house the night Seth was killed added to the mounting evidence against him. Despite his efforts to maintain innocence, the detective's persistent questioning led to further cracks in his story. Charlie Ellely's involvement and the truth unfolds. Charlie Ellely, the 18-year-old homeowner, also found herself under interrogation. She initially seemed nervous, claiming to not know what was happening. However, as the detective pushed for more details, her story began to change. She admitted that she, Amber, and others were involved in meeting Seth that night. But things quickly escalated when Kyle, her brother, unexpectedly attacked Seth. The violence didn't stop there. Mike Bargo, who had been in his room, emerged with a gun, and a brutal attack ensued. Charlie described hearing gunshots and running to her room in terror. The sheer violence of the act shocked everyone involved, but they remained silent, complicit in the murder that was unfolding in the other room. Amber Wright's role in the murder. Amber Wright, Seth's ex-girlfriend, played a pivotal role in the events leading up to his death. Initially, she claimed to be unaware of Mike's intentions, but as the interrogation continued, she admitted that she knew what was about to happen. She had been part of the plot, manipulated by Mike, who was driven by jealousy and anger towards Seth. Amber revealed that Mike had told her he wanted to kill Seth, and she, along with Charlie, was complicit in luring Seth to the house under false pretenses. She admitted to calling Seth, pretending to want to reconcile, all the while knowing that Mike was planning his death. The murder and its aftermath. The murder of Seth Jackson unfolded in a terrifying and chaotic sequence. After being lured to the house, Seth was attacked by Kyle, who struck him over the head with a stick. As Seth attempted to flee, Mike emerged with a revolver and shot him multiple times, continuing the assault until Seth was dead. Despite the violence, the group attempted to cover up the crime. Seth's body was dumped in a bathtub, and the suspects, driven by fear and guilt, tried to dispose of the evidence. The next day, they set his body on fire to destroy any trace of the crime. They even went as far as to dispose of the remains in a quarry, where they believed no one would ever find them. Mike Bargo's confession and the road to justice. Mike Bargo, the mastermind behind the murder, was the last to be questioned. His interrogation revealed a disturbing truth. He had planned the entire attack, fueled by jealousy over Seth's past relationship with Amber. After killing Seth, Mike made chilling threats against those who had witnessed the crime, ensuring that no one would speak out. As the investigation progressed, the authorities pieced together the full story. Mike Bargo was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, while the others, including Amber, Kyle, and Charlie, were also charged with their roles in the crime. They faced a harsh legal reckoning for their involvement in the senseless and brutal murder of Seth Jackson. The legal consequences. The trial for Seth Jackson's murder concluded with devastating consequences for the perpetrators. Amber, Kyle, Charlie, and Justin were convicted of first-degree murder, each receiving life sentences. Mike Bargo, as the primary instigator and shooter, was sentenced to death. This tragic case serves as a chilling reminder of how envy, manipulation, and betrayal can lead to catastrophic violence. It also raises questions about the responsibility of those who stand by and allow such heinous acts to unfold. Reflection. Seth Jackson was a young man with dreams and aspirations, but his life was brutally cut short by the actions of those he once trusted. His story is a tragic reflection of how seemingly harmless relationships can spiral into violence, and how the line between friendship and betrayal can become dangerously blurred. As we reflect on this case, it's clear that the repercussions of that fateful night will continue to haunt everyone involved for the rest of their lives. The lessons learned here are painful, but necessary. Trust can be easily shattered, and the consequences of betrayal can be deadly. You've just witnessed one of the most horrifying betrayals imaginable. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Want to dive deeper into the darkest corners of the world? Then don't miss our next video. The world's most secretive underworld networks and their dark realities. Hit that subscribe button now, because you don't want to be left out when we unveil what really goes on in the shadows. Subscribe and be part of the journey into the truth. Trust us, you won't regret it. See you in the next one.